We continue to monitor the environmental crisis slowly unfolding in Toronto's waterways. Last week, a 6-alarm fire broke out at an Etobicoke chemical plant, and ever since, crews have been trying to determine how much runoff has flowed into Lake Ontario. We're joined now by David Zura, who has the latest. David.
Yeah, that's right. It's been over a week since that massive industrial fire released an industrial product comparable to motor oil into Toronto waterways. Now, that particular product, again, comparable to motor oil, has been flowing its way down Mimico Creek. The cleanup there has been massive, with the goal of keeping everything contained as far upstream as possible, so that way it can be contained and then cleaned up. And we've seen the vacuum trucks coming in and hauling that product back away. Now, other than disrupting people's leisure activities, this is also having a pretty nasty effect on local wildlife.
We have kayaks in the water and then some people on the ground, and we're trying to corral the ducks up into an area where they feel safe and that we can then contain them.
Just wait, they split or they're together?
I think they split.
Yeah, the one's running the other way. Let's just worry about the one near Jeff.
We're really just trying to triangulate them, and the more people, the better, as long as you know what you're doing. But unfortunately, they can be really quick and get through underbrush way quicker than we ever can.
It's a goose chase, right? So you have an opportunity, you see it, it gets very exciting. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Is there an emotional roller coaster?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It could go either way. It's a little frustrating when they sneak by, but we just keep at it, and often we have success.
Since the massive blaze over a week ago, efforts have continued nonstop to contain and clean up the oil. That work, however, facing a significant setback when heavy rain Thursday night resulted in a breach of the containment barriers, allowing large pools to flow closer to the mouth of Lake Ontario. Ward Councillor Amber Morley sharing an update Friday on X, formerly known as Twitter, saying GFL, the cleanup contractor, and Toronto Water continue to work to clean up Mimico Creek and Humber Creek, and the TRCA will continue sampling on the upstream and downstream Mimico site locations throughout the weekend.
It's sad to see, the wildlife being affected by this.
I think you see events like that and stuff. I think steps need to be taken to kind of make sure it A, doesn't happen again, and then B, there's steps in place.
It's challenging to know, or it's difficult to know that our wildlife is being so affected by what's happening.
In a written statement, a spokesperson for Ontario's Ministry of Environment saying 4 boats have been deployed in Lake Ontario to assess how much material made it into the lake and to place additional containment. Adding, cleanup crews are verifying established containment measures along the creeks, which are being reinforced where needed. And staff are also assessing the existing containment locations along Humber and Mimico Creeks. The Toronto Wildlife Centre is also asking for our help.
We're asking people to walk up and down the Mimico and including the Humber East and West Parks, just looking for any wildlife that might be affected from this oil.
So this is what the Toronto Wildlife Centre is telling us. They say if you do spot any animals that have been affected, covered in oil, you can do a quick internet search, find their hotline, and tell them where you found that animal. Now, over the last few days, we have also had a couple of beach closures in the area with water warnings, particularly the one we're here, Marie Curtis Park in both Toronto and Mississauga, as well as Sunnyside. Now, what we are hearing is that these beach closures, although they're the 2 closest beaches to where that oil would be spilling out into Lake Ontario, if it did, these closures are not closures rather, but the water warnings are not in regards to the oil, they're in regards to E. coli. They do, however, say, or rather staff here on site have told us that there have been instructions that have been given to them to keep an eye out for the oil, as well as to watch out for any potential smell that could indicate it's in the water.